Lab 2, Part 2. We're going to create some cantilever jogouts. Like I said before, you can create those while you're creating a wall if you have enough information, such as by just dragging and creating a 45 or whatever angle you need. You can certainly do it this way, and sometimes that's works just fine as long as you have enough information about wall lengths and angles and such. I'm going to show you how we can create them after the fact by using reference lines and the modify commands. So let's go ahead and delete these, and we're going to work on this back breakfast nook. I'll bring over the PDF. We're going to draw in this breakfast nook. It offsets from the back wall 3 feet, and got a few dimensions here. This is a 4-foot wall on the back side, and we are actually from this outside wall, exterior wall, to where this angle starts here is 30 feet if you look at the dimensions, but we're going to start with 31 feet over and then show you how to just move it back a foot and show how we can easily adjust wall locations. That's the beauty of Revit. Once we do that, then you should have the skill set to come over here and complete these other ones, and you'll have access to this level 1 floor plan with dimensions, and that should give us all our exterior walls. Alright, so let's get to it. So back here in our drawing, what I'm going to first do is zoom in here, and I'm going to create a reference line or reference plane. So in the architecture tab of the ribbon, come over here to the far right and click on reference plane, and we're going to do it here and come straight up and create one there like that. While we're at it, let's just go ahead and create another one. At this point, see if we can snap it. There we go. Zoom out and put another one there. Okay, so these reference planes are just what the name implies, just tools to help you set points and planes, intersections, and you can use them to your heart's content. They don't show up when you print, but they do show up in your drawings. They are 3-dimensional, so they'll show up in other views as well. You can turn them off or delete them. So let's go ahead and create, like I said, we're going to offset this one 31 feet. Now, the offset command doesn't really work in this. What we have to do is create another reference line. So I'm going to right click on this and go create similar, and then we're going to put an offset here in the options bar, 31 feet. And we also need to select in our draw up here, rather than line, we're going to select pick line. And now if we hover over this, you can see off to the right by the 64-foot mark on the dimension line that there's a dashed line showing up. So that's showing where our new offset line reference plane will go. So with my mouse hovering over this, I'm going to click on that, and voila, creates another reference line. So I'm going to escape out of this. I'm going to use the same principle and create another wall that's offset 3 feet to create the back wall. So let's right click on this exterior wall, go to create similar, and let's change our draw to pick lines. And everything is good here in the options, except for let's change our offset now to 3 feet. And now if we hover over this, we again get a dashed line. I'm going to click, and it'll create a 3-foot wall offset. Escape out of that command, and let's go back, create similar, and let's create another wall starting right here at the intersection or endpoint of this, and coming 45 degrees. Notice that it connected this wall to this one. That's fine for now. We're going to clean this up. Let's attach this wall to this one. The easiest way to do that is up in the modify command, use our trim extend to corner command. Click this wall and come over here where it's going to connect and click. Now I know that this total opening here is 10 feet. Bring this over. So we have from this edge 3 feet plus 4 plus 3, so that gives us a total of 10 feet from this intersection to this one. So we'll show you the mirror command just to get some additional modify commands in here, get you some practice. And once you learn some of these methods, feel free to choose your own method. There's a lot of ways to get this accomplished, and certainly whatever you're most comfortable with and works best for you, feel free to adopt. But in the meantime, just play around, try different options, and get used to the interface. Alright, so we know that opening is 10 feet. So I'm going to create an offset of this line for 5 feet. So again, right click on the reference line, do create similar. I'm going to go pick line. I'm going to do 5 feet. And I'm going to create another line here. Now I'm going to select on this wall and go up to the modify command and do mirror by pick axis. Select that and select the axis of reflection as what I'm reading down here in the lower left. So it's this one here, and it creates another wall. Escape out of that, and then let's fillet these two walls together to clean up that. Now the last thing to do is we need to remove this wall, exterior wall here, because this is an opening area for the breakfast nook that goes through. The floor extends out to this point. So to do that, we have another up in the modify, another command called split element. and we're going to use that split element. So select on that. Again, there's a little video if you want to watch that. It shows you how to do it, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So click on that. Make sure in the options bar you select delete inner segment, and now we're going to just pick a couple places that we want to break this wall. Doesn't really matter where. We'll just go here and say here, and it deletes that segment. Escape out of that a couple times, and then go back up to our trim extend the corner. Select that command, and then let's clean those edges up. Now we have a final cantilever jog out in our wall system. You can either delete these reference lines or leave them if you feel you'll need them later. So I think for now I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of these. Let's make sure to check to make sure our dimensions are right. So I'm going to go up here and annotate in the ribbon, select aligned. For my options, faces by core, and I'm going to do individual reference. And I want to check this opening here. Should be 10 feet, so I'm going to hover my mouse over this core and then hit tab. And hopefully we can, let's not pick, there we go. Sometimes you have to zoom in a little closer. There, so I want that endpoint. And over here, that endpoint. And drag it out. And we got 10 feet. That's what we were after. And let's check up for this one as well. I'm just cycling the tab button till I get to an endpoint. Let's see if we can get this. There. Sometimes you have to zoom in, get a little closer. And there. Okay. We didn't quite get our 4 feet, so let's see what's going on here. Let's check one more thing. And I'm going to go from here to this wall. And there's our culprit right there. Why we didn't get our 4 feet is because this is supposed to be 3 feet. And for some reason, not sure why, we must have hit a wrong button. But we got 3 feet 1 1/8 of an inch offset from that wall, so we need to come back in 1 1/8. So let's move this back in. We could do a couple things. We could delete this and try an offset again, or we can try to move this wall in 1 1/8. So let's try the move first. So we'll select that wall, come up to move. We'll select a point as a base point, and then we want to move this direction, and I'm going to type 1. Alright, we'll start 0 feet, 1 1/8. There we go. So now we have a 3 foot offset and 4 foot here, and everything looks good. Let me undo this. I want to show you one other thing that we could have done, and this actually is even a preferred method, but we haven't really got into it yet. We'll get more into dimensions into the next lesson, but let me do an undo. And if I select on this wall, the one I want to move, notice that this dimension line will change to smaller numbers and blue. When I do that, it's putting it into a temporary mode, and right here I can actually type in what that offset should be. So I'm just going to type 3 feet, 3 for the first number, it knows it's feet, hit enter, and watch the wall will jump in, and then I'll deselect it and comes back and everything is good. So that's a really handy way. We'll get in more to that, I think, maybe later in this lab, or perhaps lab 3, I'm not sure. But be aware of that method for moving things around. So we created this jog out 31 feet over from this edge, and let's say we want to move it over 1 feet, and that is what we want to do for this. So again, all you have to do is to select these 3 walls, do a move command, select a base point, move the cursor in the direction you want to go, and then type 1 foot, and it'll move the wall over 1 foot. Let's check to make sure we got our 31 foot here. So from this core face, which is the stud, over to this point here, we should now have 30 feet, and we in fact do. Alright, so that's how you create cantilever jog out, modify walls. Go ahead and play around and finish up the wall jog outs for the front of the house. Here for this tea room area, the grand room, and the master bedroom. And don't forget to inset the entryway for the house. I was just looking here and seeing if I have the dimension for that inset, and I am not seeing that, so I might have missed that. Let me get that for you and make sure I put it on the plans. Okay, I went and checked, and that inset for the entryway is 2'6", and I put that on the plans now. So 2'6" inset for the entryway, and it looks like 9 feet wide. So I'll let you go and work on those other cantilevers and that entryway, and I believe that should be the majority of any wall modifications. So have at it. I'll meet you back here and we will walk through inserting doors and windows next. I wanted to point out one other thing before I let you go on this, and this is at the grand room opening. So right here in this area, just want to show you a couple other quick tricks. So we have a wall that's offset 3 feet 6 inches, and the reason we weren't getting a correct offset before is this wall isn't symmetrical, and if we offset from the center line, it's not going to be exactly accurate. So we need to offset from the exterior core face. So let's do a create similar, pick lines. We're going to do 3 foot 6 inch offset, and we need to make sure that we are offsetting from this core, not the center line. So I'm going to use my tab key right there. Once that's highlighted and my dash line is on the correct side, then I click it, and now I get a wall out. Now this wall is at a 60-degree angle instead of a 45. So I'm going to create similar. I offset my line over. So I want to do the intersection and come out. Now notice this is the other thing I wanted to show you. The wall is facing the wrong direction. All you need to do is tap the space bar on the keyboard and it'll flip the wall in the right direction. So that's just a toggle. Flip space bar, space bar. So I want to make sure that I am $60 degrees, so I believe, make sure I get this right. So we'll want to go to 120 degrees this way. And that should give us 60-degree angle or 30-degree angle from this space. Let's just check that real quick here. Go to annotate our angular, and from here to here, there we go, 60 degrees. So that's correct. Alright, so I wanted to show you on the wall flip and making sure that you offset from the correct point on the wall. At this point, you should have all the exterior walls in and cantilever jog outs. Before we move on to windows and doors, I want to show you how to clean up some wall corners. Let's first zoom into this corner. If we click on a wall, it brings us into the Modify Wall ribbon up top. And over here under Geometry, there's a little icon called Wall Joins. We'll select on that, and then we hover our mouse over a wall intersection. You'll see a little rectangle show up. Click on that, and then up above in the options we have different types of wall joins. In this case, butt join is selected. There's also miter. For this wall join on the corner, we probably want a butt, so I'm going to leave that. Notice if you click next or previous, we can cycle between depending on which wall goes in which direction. So I think for now we'll leave that one like that. And we'll now zoom out and come over to these, select this one, and let's change this to a miter. Also notice on these angled walls there's another option here called square off. Let's select that and see what that does. Notice it does a square off, and we can change types of square off as well by clicking the next button. So this one probably would be a miter type, and so with these, so we'll change these to miter, miter, and miter. So go around and the drawing and finish selecting the wall join types to either butt or miter, and then we'll come back and spend some time on inserting windows and doors. We're back, and now we're going to work on window and door placement. Windows and doors are very easy to put in, and one of the strengths of Revit. It's just a matter of picking the right window and door and getting the placement correct. It's probably the toughest part. So I'll make available to you window and door schedule. And for now, let's take a quick look at the window schedule. What we're going to do, actually I'm going to bring over the main plans. Let's take a look, zoom in a little bit here. Let's work on these windows here in this tea room cantilever. Notice I have a door tag, or window, I'm sorry, window tag, 25 and then 60 for this front one. So coming back to our window schedule, we'll look for the window type or tag 25 and 60 to see what that is. So window type 25 looks like it's a casement window with trim. It's 24 by 48 inches. So casement type of trim. So let's go ahead and put that in. What you need to do is go back to Architecture tab in the ribbon and click on the window icon. And we want to select our window type in the properties. So hit the scroll down. And we don't have any, all that's available at this point in time is the fixed window. So we want a casement with trim. So how do we get that? What we do is in the ribbon, go over to this mode area and do a load family. From here you should get in US Imperial open, which is under the Autodesk or Program Data, Autodesk, Revit 2014 Libraries, US Imperial. Scroll down and find Windows, and under there we should see some different window types that are created for us. Here's our casement with trim. We're going to open that, and now we're going to look for 24 by 48, see if we have that, and there is one here. So casement with trim 24 by 48, select that. We're going to zoom in. Revit recognizes that windows need to be placed within walls, so here we have our circle with a slash saying we can't do anything out here, but once we hover over a wall we can place a window. We want our glass on the outside rather than the inside, so we'll hit that. And don't worry about placement location quite yet, just go ahead and put it in there. We'll come back and talk about that in a minute. Notice some arrows, and we can switch if for some reason we got the window pane on the wrong side. We can flip it over by clicking those arrows, and this just flips which side it opens from. We would have to look at a elevation view to actually see which side this is opening from, but I think we want this way, so this I believe will swing open like this. Alright, we're still in the place window. We still have casement 24 by 48, so let's go ahead and stick another one in here. And looking at our plans, let's see where else we need some. Might as well just do all the same type. These are 24, so a couple other 25s over here, and looks like that's it. So let's put those in as well. So zoom over here, and we'll put this one in and that one in. Okay, we're done with that. I'm going to cancel out. And that's how windows are put in, as easy as that. And so I will make available to you the window schedule. and the plan set, you can find out from the window tags what type of window. Use the load family for these other window types and pick the size and put it in the wall. Now on some sizes you won't see these sizes in the default, but remember you can go into edit type once you select a window, and let's just do that real quick. So let's go back into our window command, and let's say we're going to place another window here, even though this is the wrong type. But let's say we wanted to make that, let's see what sizes we have here. How about a 30-inch by 48-inch? So notice there is no 30-inch by 48. So what we can do is, with any of these selected, in this case 24 by 48, that's fine. Go into edit type, duplicate, and we'll call this one 30 by 48 inch. Hit OK, and then come down here to the width, which was 24. Now we need 30 inch, so we're going to go 0 space 30, and that should give us 30 inch, which is 2 foot 6 inches. Our height should be good. Everything else is fine. So hit OK, and now we should have a 30-inch by 48-inch window to put in there. Alright, that's not the right window for there, so I'm going to delete that. But that's how you quickly create different window sizes by using the edit type button. Doors are the same way, exact same procedure, just using the door command instead of window. Let's put this front door in. So that has a door tag of 1. Notice the door tags have this elliptical tag where the windows had a hexagon type tag. So we can see we have a front door over here, we have a sliding door, we have some French double doors here, and exterior door going to the garage and outside the garage. So once you know how to do one, you should be able to do the others. So let's take a look. Tag 1. So let's bring over our door schedule, door type, and I believe this is all interior doors, so let me go get the exterior door schedule. Hold on a minute. Alright, back on doors. Here's the door schedule, and I'll get this to you. We can, for the entryway door, which is tag mark 1, is a single raised panel with side lights, 32 inches by 84 inches. So let's see if we can find that. So we'll come back to architecture, this time do door under the ribbon. And again, we don't have a whole lot of options here, single flush, so we'll have to go to load family and look under doors, and we want to find single raised panel. With side lights. There it is. Open that up. And our size was 32 inches by 84. So there we have it. And we'll stick this in here. And we're going to change the door swing, so that would be this arrow to that side. Notice when we click on a door, or any object for that matter, we get what's called temporary dimensions that pop up where we can actually change information about that. So in this case, if we wanted to center this door, we could put these temporary marks to the center, or we can notice here that we have 2 inches difference, so we'll just say 3 and 2. So now that centers the door in place. By the way, there's a setting for these temporary dimensions of how they're placed by going into Manage, Additional Settings, and Temporary Dimensions. In this case, we're going to go to Walls, Faces of Core, and Doors and Openings. Here we could either change it to center lines or the openings. Alright, looking at this a little further, I see actually our door has to switch to the inside and swing to the right. So there we have it. Notice it automatically put a door tag in, and that is probably because when we clicked on the door in the ribbon, the tag on placement was on, and for the windows it was not on. So we should have either had the windows on, but we can always go back and tag the windows pretty easily by going to the Annotate tab and do a Tag All. Let's see if we want to do Tag by Category. Let's try Tag by Category. And yeah, that's not what we want. Let's go back and do Tag All. And yeah, that's better. So Tag All, and then find Windows, Window Tags, select that, click OK, and it will label our windows as well. Alright, so that's how to place windows and doors. I'll let you take over and put the rest of the windows and doors in as per the door schedule for the exterior of the building. Remember to use the load family if you don't find the door or window that you're looking for, and use the edit type for changing the dimensions of things. I'd like to show you a few more little tips and tricks I noticed as we were reading through the notes. Let's go ahead and place this window here on this jog out. So looking at our plan set, that's window 60. Bringing our window over our schedule. So for 60, it's a fixed with trim, 72 by 48. So architecture, window. Let's turn the tag on placement on. And we're fixed with trim. So don't have that. So we'll have to load the family. Go down to Windows. Fixed with trim. Load that. And we had 72 by 48. Fixed with trim. Looks like biggest we have is 36 by 48. So we'll click on that. Do Edit Type. Go to Duplicate. And let's change this to 72. And then the width, so 72 is 6 feet, so we'll make that a 6. And OK. And I'm going to go back in here real quick. I notice my name, I didn't take that 2 off, so take that off. Okay, so let's place that on here. Let's just offset it a little bit like that. The numbers will be different on yours depending on how you place the order that you place things in, so don't worry about that. It's just a tag number. So let's center these windows up. So I've already showed you one method on the door by clicking on it and seeing the temp marks, and we can do that here. Now we're not seeing temp marks. The reason is because sometimes those temporary dimensions don't show up when on these angled walls because it doesn't quite know where to dimension to. Whereas the door, it had some hard corners. So I think what happens is it gets confused on these. So there's a couple ways we could do this. We could put some dimensions in here. And let's do that method. So annotate, do aligned, and I'm going to go zoom in a little bit more here, get this endpoint, and then let's go to the center of the window. If you hover near the center of the window, you'll get a vertical bar. So we'll click to there, and then we're going to come out here to that endpoint and drag this out and place it. Now what I want to show you on this is if we highlight the dimension, notice that there's this EQ with a slash through it. If we click on the EQ, which is to equalize, it's going to put the window right in the center by equalizing the dimension. So do that and voila. And we can unequalize it and it'll keep the dimensions but keep the window centered. Okay, another way is now that the window is or dimension, we could click on it, get our temp dimensions, and do it that way as well. Okay. On these windows on the side, let's grab this one and move it over a smidge. I'm wondering, this window looks a little big for that. So let me check on that size. Okay, notice that that window is a little big. I'm not sure how we got that wrong, but this should be a 24 by 48 here, not 30. So we do not have 24 by 48, so we're going to have to create one. So let's go up and duplicate. Change this to 24. And the width, we'll make that 2 feet. And OK. Alright, so that shrunk it up a little. And this one we'll just change it 24 by 48 as well. Alright, now these windows over here, we have kind of an odd thing going on where this, from this corner to the window, is different than this corner. Now, if we made it equal, let's just kind of move it a little bit. Let's just eye it. see what I'm trying to say here. If we make this dimension on the outside right here equal to this side, then what happens is on the inside it forces it too close to the corner. So instead what we're going to do is center the window between the two closest corners. And so to do that, we need to create a dimension. So we'll go to annotate and aligned. And we're going to go ahead and pick on here. And go to the center. And then this corner here. Okay. Now the reason I did the outside is because if we would have went to this corner, then our aligned dimension would have been like this. So what I need to do is move this over, this dimension line here, and to do that you grab this little blue grip that has a move witness line, and we're going to move that witness line to this corner here. That will snap it over that way. So now let's equalize this window. So now the window should be centered and have the same distance from this outside small corner to the window as this inside to the window. A little hard to see the labels, so we can grab these text and move it out, and grab this text and drag it out, and now we can see that the window is centered between the wall. So that finishes up Lab 2. Again, go ahead and finish putting in all the doors and windows and using the techniques we went over on centering and getting things in their proper location. And then turn to page 7 of the handout for printing out the deliverables that you need to turn in to get credit for the lab and homework. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And we'll see you in Lab 3.